Welcome again, everybody. It is the Your Little Castle show. We're always looking for the experts in our community, especially when it comes to construction, getting our community built. We're going close to home for me now. Somebody who's a little bit close. I grew up in the Fenton area. Everybody thinks that's way down south. It is a little bit south. Our guest here today, Ethan Crocker, comes from the southern part of Missouri, and you work out of, well, you do all of St. Louis, I guess, is where you work for now. But are you based out of House Springs, is that right?
Cadet area.
Cadet, okay, just a little south of that?
Yeah, just a little south of that. Okay,
down Highway 55, as they say, right? But exciting show because Ethan has really done a great job of starting something from scratch. Something he said, hey man, I want to do this. It wasn't inherited. It wasn't something he bought out somebody. He started it up, and now look at the success he's had here. And we're going to show you some of his work here. With that, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. You can see on the TV walls behind us now. We've got two TV walls in here now. But Your Little Castle is sponsored by Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle. See what we did there? Like Brooke likes that. It's a lot of fun. Also, though, if you're going to get a house, you got to get it paid for. And so USA Mortgage, powered by the Flowers team. I have my mortgage license, been working with them for a couple of years now. And they do great work to help our community buy the houses that you're going to be working on a lot of times, too. But with that, we jump right in because we've got lots of great information to share with everybody. Here is Ethan's website, Direct Contractors. And when you want to get contracting done, you want to get it done direct. But he is the owner and founder. And welcome to the show, Ethan.
Thank you.
Well, tell me, what got you into the industry of construction, and how long have you been working in this industry?
Well, I was fortunate enough to get started whenever I was about 14. Family in the business, and took me along one day. I mean, we've been at it for about 20 years now. Really just added to what we do. I mean, knowledge base, and we've done good.
Well, yeah, I've looked at some of the work. Beautiful website. Lots of great information on the website for everybody there. That's Direct Contractors LLC.info. Not the .com, the .info. I like that. Well, that's great. So you didn't take over the family business. Tell me how you got started with this and how this ended up going for you.
Well, about 5 years ago, we started up. Definitely been some challenges and management aspects, just learning into that part. Just adapting to an ever-changing environment.
Sure, that's the essence to the survival of a business. If you're going to succeed in business, it's how do you respond to adversity? Is that kind of the way it's been? And even in an industry that's been so stable for so long, there's always something you got to be managing. The pipes blew, the electric's not run the right way. You're always going to be fixing something.
Yeah, and then we've made it where we're more approachable. Our biggest thing is that inflation has really skyrocketed in the past 2 years. I mean, if you're contemplating a project, I would say go on ahead and do it. The same materials that we're offering 20 years ago was a seventh of what they cost now. Then we've adapted to allow newer generations easier way to reach out to us. Our phone number, you can text it over. We can do simple communication that way. Another thing is we've had to modify how we take products in. There's been a lot of things that have changed in that industry.
Yeah, well, it's an ever-evolving industry, especially when does technology affect things a little bit, and the way you got to communicate, like you said. You said your millennials, they don't like watching TV, they don't like long videos unless it's on YouTube, and they reach out to you through the website, and they'll text you to get you and communicate with you. Is that right?
Yes.
That's kind of neat. And these days, a textable phone number is an important little thing to have, and so most of your businesses are staying on the ball with that. It looks like your web guy is staying on the ball there too. Well, tell me, what are some of the biggest changes that's happened over the last 20 years? We kind of went over that there. Was there anything I missed with regards to the technology is the biggest thing, or did you say inflation is the thing that affected you the most, or is all of that then coming together, I guess, right?
All of it coming together. I mean, communication is key with your customers. Another thing is that we're really having to monitor our products a little closer due to additives in our oil-based products for winter grade gasoline production. We've worked with our supply companies and really been able to stock up on materials that meet our standards.
Yeah, well, keeping a high standard of quality is obviously important because you don't want to have to go back and fix somebody's house twice. No. That costs you a lot more money to do things that way, of course, right? What are some of the materials you stopped using that don't reach your standards?
We haven't really stopped using anything. I mean, like, we've worked with our suppliers. We're able to accomplish the same quality, the same durability of products. We've pretty much got that ironed out now.
Yeah, well, once you find a good quality system, the products you're putting on, the materials you're using, obviously that's something to keep that standard high and keep doing a great job for somebody. Is there any particular additives that and what they do to shingles these days? Tell me about the additives you're talking about that go into these shingles a little bit.
We've seen a lot of deterioration on our spring installs. We've addressed it since then. We're only getting products that are produced without the additives. So that's really helped out making sure that somebody ends up with a top quality product off the shelf. Another thing are metals. We're constantly checking those, making sure that they're up to mil spec. And our paints are also the same quality that's going to last a lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, most people expect that these things last 20, 25, 30 years. What's the life expectancy somebody can expect from a shingle or a roof or paint that they apply to a house these days?
I would say 20 years before fading affects it. Really, it just depends on the weather. Here in Missouri, we have a lot of weather changes. I mean, we go from -8 to 110. So
good point. Yeah, I didn't realize -8. We had those really cold temperatures. We had as cold as once, one-off kind of thing, but -40, I think, the first time in like 45 years.
Yeah.
I know because we had some pipes that blew at one of the properties we have in the family, and then, oh my gosh, all the work that had to go into that. But yeah, it's where high quality. I don't know if anything is designed to survive a -40, but you got -8 and the range there. High quality products are going to make your house last a lot longer. It's just where people live. Good idea to get the best stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Sounds like you're passionate about the industry, and you've been doing this for a long time. What about the industry have you found to be the best for that you've learned from, the wisdom you've gained that you can pass on to somebody else in your field?
Really just do what works. I mean, I don't have a formula to just make a multi-million-dollar business overnight. You know, we failed in a few areas and we've ironed out everything, and we got a pretty good system in place now for everybody involved.
And that's interesting to hear. Construction guy talk about systems. Most of them are like, I get the product, I know how to assemble things, but when you talk about systems, that's a unique approach, I think, that us computer nerds use a lot of times. But if you have a system in place, that helps you to make sure that everything is done in order and assembled correctly for high quality. Is that what you're talking about there?
Yeah, and then we also do our proposal system is very easy. A customer can expect to receive it via email or text. Everything now we can pretty much do mobilely.
Yeah, so somebody wants to get an outline, a detail of all the work you're going to do. It's itemized. It says, here's the work, here's the amount, here's the number, and it's put in order so that people can easily dissect and see what they're getting, because the job, repairing a roof or various related construction, there's a lot of materials that go involved with that, but you give a detailed list for everybody to see and understand what they're getting into.
Yeah, and then everything's presented there. The customer can do their own research, determine if they're getting the best product for their money. We include all the details so everybody knows what to expect up front.
Well, that's important, because up front and getting people all the information, if they don't get it, they will find it somewhere from somebody, and if you're not going to share everything with them, then that's kind of just full disclosure kind of thing, right? Where does someone go to contact you or your company, and what is expected from you when they reach out?
We can be reached at Contractors LLC.info, and then our number is
right there on the website. Yeah, look at that. And so here's the website for everybody. Look, and if you go to and I even cheated to put up a separate tab so we can go right to it, the contact page. There it is. there's your contact information. So if they fill this little form out, it takes just a couple seconds. This will go right to you, and you'll be able to start helping them right away. Is that true?
Yes.
There you go. Easy. Make it easy, everybody. If you don't make it easy for people to get a hold of you, then they're going to find somebody that does make it easy. So get a hold of these guys right here. Ethan will probably talk to you directly, right? Who else helps you in the office there?
We have quite a few members. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of changes as COVID hit. We operated just before that hit, so that stunted a little bit of our growth. A bunch of the girls in the office, really.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of getting a good crew, somebody that you know you can count on. And these days, boy, it's hard to get good work, as they say.
Yes.
And it just seems like the culture has changed a little bit since the last dilemma that we dealt with. We won't get too specifics with that. But it sounds like you guys have really worked it out. I mean, just looking at your work, we're going to show everybody a little bit of the work that you've done. And great looking website, obviously. That's a good indicator right there. So what products do you offer? And is there anything that sticks out in your inventory that really sets you apart?
We've just released the gutter protection. I mean, it's top of the line as far as what you're wanting. It works for all forms of organic growth that you'll have around the home.
Yeah, I've got up on the wall there. If you're looking at gutter protection, that's something that can affect the whole house, right? Because if your gutters aren't working, then you get water start running down and causes all kinds of problems. None of us want to deal with that. We've all seen the damage that can happen from water getting inside the house. How often do you deal with a house that has had some water damage and it goes into the siding, into the wallboard? And what are you talking about when you have to work on that?
More often than I like. I mean, our repair industry, just fixing what the other guy does, is pretty full.
Wow. So very often you're saying that there's somebody that did some work, didn't do it up to par, and you got to go in and do that. What percentage of the work do you think comes from that, having to go in and fix other people's work?
I'd say probably 40% to 50%.
Right, so between 40 and almost half of the work is because somebody hassled and did that. That reminds me of a good indication for something we should talk about here, everybody, and that is if you look here on the wall, I'm going to put this up for everybody to see because most people do appreciate a company who does have good reviews. So here's the wide angle shot you can see there, and I'll go ahead and put up these reviews for you. There's the website, and here are some reviews. You can see Home Advisor. Just about everybody these days has heard of Home Advisor. They've been around for a long time. Angie's List, and if you're going to get good work done, you might as well get it done by somebody who's got some great reviews. So 19 reviews, 4.9. There's a good start for what you do, for some of what the people have done to review you. How many people have also now heard of this new thing called the BBB, the Better Business Bureau, if you will, right? And so there it is on the wall behind Ethan. You can see he's got the A+ right behind him. I'm going to put that up on the wall for everybody to see too. But when you've got an A+, then obviously you've done some good work to keep your standards high, to get those reviews that show that you're doing good work. Tell me how you think you've earned those reviews. Why do you think you've ended up with such high reviews and such accolades, people that respect the work that you're doing?
Our business has been pretty organic. Anybody that is reviewing us, it's because they want to. They've received a good enough product and good enough service that they felt the need to take time out to review us. We also don't practice high pressure sales. So I mean, it's an organic business.
Yeah, that seems to be, I mean, it's obvious if somebody has essentially, you see very often it seems those people solicit reviews and they've, I've got 500 reviews of 5.0. All right, something's going on there. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
But you've got a homegrown organic. And I says you're not actually soliciting. You're saying these people, they went out on their own to get these reviews and give them to you to talk about what you do and the work that you do in our little planet right here.
Yes. Yeah, and then we've done good for a lot of people. I mean, you know, obviously this isn't all of our customer base. It's just people that felt so pleased with our service.
Well, that's dynamite. That's what we're looking for. Tell me, here's a catchphrase in the industry. What is a TPO? Tell me what is a TPO?
It's a thermoplastic. We use this on low slope sections of roofing. You know, the life expectancy is about 20 years. It's highly reflective, so you get a pretty good energy rating out of it.
Yeah, well, saving energy is something that we're all looking to do, especially with the cost of energy these days, and that's something that can really help to save some money.
Yes.
Very much, very much so, and that's key. Again, we're always who isn't trying to save a few bucks when it comes down to what you do to construct and build a house. All right, well, sounds like there's a hefty price. What does the typical project cost for what you do?
It's custom to each home. I mean, if we do run into somewhere where somebody's needing some financial aid, we do offer financing. Customers have told me, compared to our competitors, the interest rates are about 20% less than what our competitors are offering.
Wow, so a 20% savings is a lot for somebody. When you're talking about what's the average job, it's probably anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, an average of 30 or so, and an interest rate that can cost you that much. So if you're offering the financing for them at a special rate that you guys offer, that'll definitely make a difference in the overall, because just a 5% is a big difference. If you're talking about what you said, 20%, well, you can save somebody a lot of money. So expert construction quality and some of the best financing options that are available out there. That's very cool. All right, somebody who's been in the industry so long, what would you say is there one thing? What would be the one thing, if you could name one, that you say separates you from the rest?
We're installing a product that lasts. I mean, most of these competing companies, they're going with an inferior product, and they're not really taking their time to provide a quality service.
Well, that kind of explains how that if you're going to have to replace the work or fix some of the work that's being done by somebody 40 to 50% of the time, a lot of that isn't necessarily the work and the craftsmanship. That probably is some of it, but the quality of the product then. And you put those two together, that's where you end up with an inferior result, and you got to have somebody come in and fix the work like you're talking about.
Yes.
And
yeah, we do, like I said, we do a lot of work where we're just going behind somebody fixing something.
Well, gosh, it's kind of frightening to imagine that there's that much work that has to be done. But I've seen that happen before. We all know that there's somebody. I hired a guy to do my deck for me, right? And I bought all the materials and put them out there. And then I look later, and the rails are on the outside, and the pieces are cut and cut into the wood. And it's just those kinds of things. Somebody's just trying to get the job done, but they're not putting the time and quality effort in to do so. Is that something you feel like you really do that separates you guys?
Yeah, we take our time and make sure that it's going to be something that lasts for 30 plus years if it's one of our materials that are a lifetime product. The other products, we're making sure that we're installing up to production standards. And
there is a standard, if you will, for installation. A lot of times there's some training or at least some certifications you've got to get done. And just if you know the expert installation necessary, you guys take the time to make sure these things are installed correctly, and that's going to make a big impact on the quote-unquote performance of the materials, right? So something that lasts a long time. Is that a big difference maker?
Yes, it is. We are licensed through our production companies that we do use, and so even our production will stand behind us.
There you go. So if you've got the production is standing behind you, now you've got somebody who's got great quality. Take note, everybody. That's why we've got our pencil here. But we break this out sometimes and we say, you should take note of the people who are using the high quality. You said that the companies you work for, they're essentially certifying the work and giving you the chutzpah to say, hey, done right, done quality, or else you guys wouldn't be allowed to install it.
Yeah, a big one would probably be an example of our TPO roofs. We work with mule hide and with the actual producer, and we get it certified.
So certified meaning that they can guarantee that there's a certain level of quality there, and they can back it with a warranty is, I guess, a big thing too. So
yes.
If something does have a problem, you don't want something that's unwarranted, because then you're going to start paying for labor and then likely parts as well. How important is that?
Well, with our products, the people that we work with, it's 100% replacement up to, I believe, a 10-year period, and then it's prorated after that. So if there's any issues with your product within 10 years, you'll know, and they will come in, do disposal, replacement, and everything covered underneath their warranty. There's no issue or hassle for the homeowner themselves, and we help along with that process to make sure that you get that warranty.
That's key. I mean, how often is it sometimes we buy a product, it stops functioning, and then who do you got to talk to? You talk to the guys who installed it, and they're going to go back to the manufacturer, who's going to say, "Yep, that's ours. We cover it." And then both the labor and the parts, the materials. I'm talking about an automotive world, I guess, a little bit there, right? But the materials will be covered 100% up to 10 years.
Yes. Yes. Now, we don't have a lot of issues just because of our quality and the precautions that we do take and making sure that we're getting the best off the shelf.
Okay. Well, I would imagine most people would think that's a valued ad because nobody wants to get a house done twice. Like I said, we did go through recently something I experienced personally, this whole repair from the pipes that blew. And many times we had to observe and make sure, make decisions in terms of quality with regard to how this thing was going to be done and what materials were going to go, where we're going to save a few bucks here, where we're going to spend more money there. These are decisions you can help people to make so that they get a final good product.
Yeah, and as the industry has evolved, and I mean, younger generations coming up, they do need a guiding hand on what works best. And we help as much as we can without encroaching on what they really want in the end. I mean, a good-looking product that's going to tie everything together.
There it is. Speaking of good-looking product, everybody, we're almost done with the first half hour here. We're going to do 2 half hours with Ethan because he's got such great information to share. We got another half hour. We're going to get into a little bit more of the depth here. I've got another series of questions I always want to ask to make sure that we get as much information, because here's somebody who's made it, an expert who's been successful and is doing a great job to help our community. So that's what we're trying to do here with the Your Little Castle Show, is highlight the people who are doing that, and hopefully you'll inspire somebody else out there that says, "Hey man, I can do that too. I didn't realize, it doesn't look as hard once somebody kind of explains a little bit about what goes into doing that." So with that, take a look here on the wall, everybody. I'm going to do the wide shot, if you will, and there we go. There it is. And so got our sponsors and everybody going there. If you take a look at Ethan's photos on his Facebook, so I'm going to go ahead and put that up on the wall for everybody. But take a look here, and Ethan, if you'll look to your right, talk about a little bit of the work that you've done here. Lots of roofs, and I can see ridge vents, big expanded areas of. There you go. How many squares is that roof?
We've done a lot. So keeping track of each individual one is kind of hard at this point. But typically we're somewhere around 8,000 feet on most of our installs. 8,000
feet. Yeah, you're talking about a wide spanned area there, and obviously something that you've got to spend a lot of time and quality materials to make sure that it does turn out right. With that, let's take another glance here. Another span. Now, is that a good shot? Is that what they call a ridge vent on top of there? Explain the importance of a ridge vent, if you would.
Yeah, the ridge vent allows for your decking. Plywood is laminated, so what this does is extend the life of your plywood. It allows it to breathe, used with vented soffits, and you might get three different installs on one layer of plywood. Really? I mean, we're talking about 70 or 80 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now you can really make these things last with the quality, and that ridge vent allows for airflow more than anything, right? So that they don't get deteriorated due to mold and mildew, and just water causes damage on all kinds of.
Yeah, and that's problems. A pretty good system. That's a low Omni system. We use that on all of our installs.
Okay.
There isn't a whole lot of homes that we can install that product on. Unless it's something built in the 1800s where ventilation wasn't a concern.
Okay, so not a lot that you can't. Most of them that you can, you're saying, install that on. Is that correct?
Yes.
Very cool. All right, talk a little bit more here. There's your logo, some work that you've got there. Give me a little bit about each one of these. There's some big houses, some tall houses, some old houses, metal roof. Give me kind of a rundown of what we're looking at over here.
Yeah, and then that one up there at the top left hand, I think that was a home that was about, I want to say, somewhere around 12,000 square footage.
12,000, so that's a pretty big roof.
This one here is a bank. Obviously, we're on that. They're about 2 stories up. Pretty good size. I mean, that went pretty well with no issues. The metal there is a standing seam, mechanically fastened metal roof. That one had its issues. Somebody had started that project without knowing what they were doing or going into it. We ended up coming in. We were about the third contractor into that process. And the metal there, the people that produced it couldn't believe that we were going to do a 2-stage on that system. I don't know if you can see the robot at that. We have these custom robots that will go down there and bend this metal together, and it will not be separated anytime in any of our lifetimes. Maybe our children's lifetimes.
All right. Well, they're high quality there. I know metal roofing can be, now they're making the metal roofing look a lot more like the modern shingled roofs too.
Yes, that's the Decra system. We don't do a lot of those, but we can. We have the capacity and the people and the knowledge to do so. Just that's your top end.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, and we're talking pretty expensive product there.
Absolutely. And so I'm scanning through here. Here's some new construction. Talk about what's going on with this particular picture we've got up on the wall for everybody. You did the roof on this one?
Yeah, we did the roof on this one. We work with a lot of builders, and we're their go-to for these bigger projects. So we do a lot of production at high quality.
Now, is that a house? That almost looks like that might be a resort. It's got
it's a house.
Okay. It's a big
house.
It's
a house. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into too many specifics of what all they have in there, but it's a house.
Well, yeah, just a little bit of an example of some of the work that you guys have done here. And another angle for that same building right there. We'll show everybody that too. But wow, is that the same building? Is that,
yes.
Just a wide shot you've got there? And the backside here. And that Tyvek coating, that's important too, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, now then, the whole industry has been moving over to the zip system, but we've stuck with Tyvek.
Okay. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We covered a lot there for our first half hour of our time here with Ethan Crocker, the president, owner, founder of, there it is for everybody, Direct Contractors, LLC. I'm going to put that, you can see the website on the wall behind me. But incredible information, lots of great resources. These guys know what they're doing. High ratings and reviews. If you're interested in getting your house repaired, updated, fixed, need a roof, talk to our friends here. Get a hold of Ethan, and he will make sure that you are taken care of and that things go well for your repairs so that you don't run into some of the problems that other people may run into by cutting corners. It says right there on your website, don't cut corners on your roof installation. Why is that important to make sure to not do?
I mean, it's your home. You want to retain most of the value of your home, and it's really something that you're going to end up passing down to your children.
Stay tuned for more. We're going to have a second show coming up. This will be the following night. If you're watching this on Friday, Saturday, and we're on Sundays now too. But if you missed it, watch it online. We give a copy to all of our guests, and you can see it on our YouTube channels, Facebook, and hopefully you get some great information out of us. All right, everybody, stay tuned for more. Giddy up.